比较详细的介绍。我们现在会议就开始。那给 Tracey 的一个掌声，谢谢。
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you had an enjoyable lunch and a very fun session. I enjoyed it. I'm living in Hong Kong. I'm originally from Australia. I work for an organisation called Plastic Free Seas, and we do a lot of similar things as you'll see from some of the people today. And I'll just give you a brief background about what we do before I talk about one of the campaigns that we're running this year. Our logo is the life ring, and we use this as a symbol of rescue. This is what we want to do to the oceans, because we've got to a point where we have too much plastic in there and we need to do something about it. We need to rescue our oceans from all this pollution. So this is just some of the rubbish that was on our local beach when we made this, and you can probably see some similarities to the same sort of trash that washes up in Taiwan as well. So Plastic Free Seas' main focus is education, and we like to get people down on the beaches because it's more fun to be on the beach than it is to be in a room, but it also connects people with the problem as well. So when people can see that there's a lot of trash on the beach, it makes them want to either run away and never come back to that beach again, or do something. And when people start seeing or start collecting the trash, then they see things like, why is there toothbrushes on the beach? How did a comb get here? Why are there so many straws or lollipop sticks or plastic wrappers? And it starts the questions happening, and this is what we want. We want people to be talking about plastic pollution and trying to think of ways to deal with this problem. So in this first picture here, the large picture, we built this on our local beach, and it's our education station, but also our cleanup station. So we wanted to empower people to do something when they saw this trash. And we can, there's a couple of posters on there, and they explain the issues of plastic pollution. So they explain to people that this trash on the beach won't ever go away unless it's taken off the beach. That once it gets into the water, it's going to stay in the water. So it's bilingual. We want to try and reach as many people as we can, and this was an effective way of doing it by having public information. And we also take students down to this hut. So this was just before one of our school beach cleanups. I was just going through an education session with the students, and also a safety session as well, being on the beach. We've made a game for the younger students in primary school, and it's just teaching them about how long plastic lasts when it gets in the sea and when it stays on the sand. So this has a timeline similar to what Jason was doing. It has 1 month, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, 500 years, and the students put their trash that they've collected from the beach on the timeline to where they think the point is where the trash will go away. So it was a way of connecting the trash with how long the plastic will stay around for. And we also do work in the community as well. So this was one of our community beach cleanups with one of the sailing clubs. We sailed to a really nice island and collected trash off the island, and we did a talk there as well. So it's nice to be on the beaches. It's nice to have my office on the beach, and we try and get out there as much as we can, because it's a nice place to be, especially when it's clean. But we do spend a lot of time in classrooms as well. And this is my colleague Dana, sitting down here. Some of you have met already. Giving a talk to one of the schools. 200 students were there. The top photo is our primary school youth conference that we held this year, and the bottom one is our secondary school youth conference that we had last year. But today, I'm going to talk about our campaign against microbeads. Has anybody heard about microbeads before? Yeah, a few people? Okay, let's ask another question. Who here washed their face today? I'm not going to point fingers and say, call you dirty or anything. Who here used a soap product to wash their face? What about a scrub? Did anyone use a face scrub? The last time you washed your face then. What about a fabric cloth? Did anyone use that? Yeah? So here's just a raise of hands. Has anyone here used a facial scrub to wash their face before? Yeah? A few people. Okay, this is one of the products that I'm going to be talking about. Basically, what traditionally was used in these products was things like natural things that broke down, so non-plastic items. But what's happening now, instead of using things like salt or sand or sugar, the companies are using plastic, tiny, tiny pieces of plastic. And you can see here, it looks like really fine powder. So it does give that nice grittiness that washes your skin and cleans your skin, but it also leaves a lasting problem as well. So why do the companies use plastic? Well, some of the reasons that we think they use it for is because it's inexpensive. It's a lot cheaper to get ground up little fine pieces of plastic than to have to grind up walnut shells and other types of products and make them safe to be used in skincare. The beads are also smoother. So when I was a teenager, the only scrub that we had available was an apricot facial scrub, and you used it once a week because it really was very rough and it did take off the layer of skin that you wanted it to and get away all the dirt. But now you can buy these products that you can use once a day or twice a day. So instead of using a natural product that worked really well that you only used once a week, now you can use a product twice a day. So you can be using 14 times more product a week. So that's really clever of these companies. So you're going to use their product a lot more. You're going to buy a lot more of their product as well. And they can also colour coordinate it. So they can make a really nice boys version of scrub and have blue beads in here. Or I've seen some that have black packaging so they can have really tough macho black beads in their scrubs. Or they can make a nice one for the girls and they can colour it with orange beads or pink beads or a nice shade of powder green or something like that. But they can manipulate the colours to make it more attractive to people too. And it sounds really technical. When you say you've got micro beads in your product, that's really exciting. And you think, well, if they've got micro beads, it must be good and it must work well. So this is how they're using clever marketing with these plastics, because nobody knows what a microbead is. And you'll see on a lot of the packaging that they'll say it has microbeads, but unless you know that microbeads are plastic, you could be mistaking it for things like, on this one, it's a bit hard to see, it's a product from Australia and it's called Botanics. So it makes it sound like it's natural and full of maybe some sand or something else. On here it says it's got aloe vera and jojoba oil on there. But the third ingredient in this product is actually plastic. So it's a really high concentration of plastic in here, so it can be quite misleading as well. So as Jason was saying and the previous speakers were saying, the problems with having plastic this size is it's very easy for it to get into the sea. Once you wash your face, all the plastics go down the drain and into the sewage treatment system. In Hong Kong, Dana and I had a fun day out and we went to a sewage treatment plant and we asked them, what's the smallest size particle you can remove from these drains? And they said 6 millimeters, which wasn't very nice to hear anyway. But basically, these powder-sized pieces are flowing through the system. So easy to get into the sea, they're not getting captured at all. And as we've already learned, they interfere with digestion from filter feeding marine organisms. They absorb the chemicals that are in the water very easily. Even though they're a really small size, they still can hold a very high concentration of chemicals, and they're ending up in our food chain. So all the filter feeding marine organisms have the potential to be filtering in all of these microbeads and microplastics. So just to give you a heads up on the type of filter feeding marine organisms, we've got all the really big ones that everybody loves. Whale sharks and the manta rays, and this great one here that looks really, really scary, the basking shark, but it's filter feeding, so they're feeding from plankton-sized pieces here. And even though these guys are really big, the effects of accumulating lots and lots of these tiny plastic pieces of plastic in the hundreds and hundreds of litres of water they filter every day, it all builds up continuously over their lifespan. And then there's the stuff that we eat and is in our direct food chain as well. This is stuff that we don't really want to be filtering out plastic and taking it into their tissues either. Some of it might pass through, but some of it might still be in their tissues when we're eating it. And eating bits of plastic that we may have cleaned our face with is not a nice connection. So, and then there's this guy. This is a lugworm, and he filters out all the things in the sediment. And so as Jason was saying in his presentation, some plastics float and some plastics sink, so you're getting plastic all throughout the water column and in here. There's been studies on lugworms, but limited studies on other marine organisms. I think it's just easier to catch and maybe keep in a lab, but it's affecting, plastic pollution is affecting all of the marine life all throughout the ocean. So I've got a movie clip here that I hope will work. This is bits of plastic under a microscope, and they've made them fluorescent. So I just wanted to make that point that everything is connected, that our actions, what we do in the bathroom, can have an effect on what happens in the ocean and potentially what happens in our dining room as well. So it's all connected, and we need to be thinking that all our actions we need to take responsibility for. So if you know that it's causing harm, we need to find a way to stop that. So how do you know which products have plastic and which ones don't? It's really tricky because the ingredients lists are so hard to read. And what you need to see, so polyethylene is the ingredient on this product here. And but how do you remember all these words? Because a lot of them are just all chemical names. And you can see here polyethylene, nylon, polyethylene terephthalate, polymethyl methacrylate, polypropylene. Who can remember one of those? If you close your eyes, can you shout it out? it's really difficult. And when you're trying to make a conscious decision, that makes it hard if you can't even remember what you're trying to find. And especially when you look at which companies have products that have plastic in them. So it's very hard to make a choice when you don't know what you're trying to choose, and it's made more difficult by the companies that are producing these products as well. So just to give you an idea of alternatives, these are some of the things that are in products that are safe to use, don't have plastic. So much easier ingredients to remember, although they do get listed as technical ways as well. One of the things with the campaign that we're really trying to do is to make it easy for people to make a choice. And in the US or in Europe, one of the NGOs there has developed an app to make it easier for people to use their smartphones and to scan the barcodes, and it will come up either positive with a red thing that will say yes, it does have plastic, or no, this product is safe to use. So it makes it easy for the consumer to make a choice. Now we're launching this in Hong Kong next month, and we've been building up the database. We've got over 200 products on the database already, and this is something that can be rolled out to Taiwan as well. So I don't know what SOW's plans are, or if there's another group that wants to take this on. The tools are there. You just need to fill in the database and help make it easier for everybody to make it a choice. And it's fun. Everybody likes doing stuff on their phone. So one more thing to do on your phone is good. So you can download the app for free. What we also want people to do, whilst making a choice with their purchases, is also tell the companies that we don't want this in our products. We don't want to see plastic causing problems in the ocean because we've washed our face with this. And we want people to use social media and to write to the companies and to spread the word and raise awareness of this issue. And in the US, legislation is just coming in to ban the sale of microbeads. So this is going to make it very difficult for companies to produce these products and to sell them. So eventually, we'd like to see this worldwide. The companies taking responsibility for their products and not produce any more pollution. One of the things that we've been doing in schools that is fun is going into their science classes. So we take in our products, and actually a lot of the products are donated by people who are really shocked that their product contains plastic, and they didn't want to throw it away, they didn't want to keep using it, so they gave it to us to use for science classes. And we use a simple cloth bag, and we get the students to separate out the plastic from the products, and they can measure out how much plastic is in each product. Now this one here, does anybody use this? Is it available in Taiwan? Gatsby? Yeah, yeah. It's really popular in Hong Kong. This is one of the worst offenders, so don't use it. When we took out the sample, there was this much plastic in the product. So this is just one product, and on average, it's a lot less than that from the other products. So this one's really bad. Some of the products we've found, they say they have 10,000 microbeads per mil, and in a 100 mil or 150 mil product, that's a lot of microbeads going into the waterways. I haven't counted this. I have no idea how much is in there, but it's a lot of plastic with each single tube. So we get the students to try and pick their product that they use on their skin if they use it, and and take out the plastic and see how much it is. And it's like going to the beach and doing a beach cleanup. It really connects people to the issue when you can see that your product is full of plastic. And then this is what some of it was looking like underneath the microscope. So it's a fun way, if you want to take this back to your school, if you want to raise awareness of this issue, talk to your science teacher and see if you can do this experiment. You'll be learning at the same time with your science skills, so they should be okay. And this is a primary school that we worked with as well. And these students came up with a slogan which is completely lost in translation because it doesn't rhyme. But make a resolution to find a solution to stop the pollution. And this was their chant. And they said this to the government who was at this conference that we were at, and they said to our environmental undersecretary, we don't want this in our waterways. So there's a start. We need to raise a lot of awareness, and then hopefully we'll be moving towards maybe legislation, maybe companies voluntarily removing this. But it's just another form of plastic pollution. So we need to think about ways to stop this. So this was the reason for giving this talk today, and I hope that you will think about this next time you go into the supermarket and share what you've learned today and get in contact. Actually, the last thing I will ask, because we're launching next month in Hong Kong, we are going to do a lot of social media. So this weekend, we want to get a group of you to help us build our social media campaign. So we want to, we've got a whiteboard at the back here. We want to get an artistic drawing on there and some speech bubbles, and then have you guys standing in front of it, spreading your message, so we can take these photos back to Hong Kong. You can share them in Taiwan. So please come and see Dana or myself afterwards if you'd be keen to participate in this as well. So thank you very much. Okay, yeah.
好，大概有13分钟的时间，可以慢慢来互相 Q&A。有没有人要提问题？跟对老师的内容兴趣，或是有想到一些自己曾经用过那一些产品，然后感到很愧疚，现在要忏悔的有吗？
Amazing as always. You're always working on so many different issues at the same time. And I just want to share this quickly because you told me yesterday in the taxi, and I think it fits very well with the LIFA project, that you are always very solution-oriented. And because in Asia there's so many lighters used in the past years, and matches totally disappeared from the shelves. So another solution that you were talking to me about yesterday were reintroducing those little pocket booklets of matches to Hong Kong first, I guess. And I just wanted to share that because it fits so well with what we heard before about the matches. And it's just everything. There's so much information that we get today from all of these talks, and they're quite depressing at some point. And I'm coming close to tears sometimes because it's so overwhelming, and it's so good to hear that there's solutions on hand. Thank you.
有问题吗？还有想要提问的？
Hello, Tracy.
Hi.
Honey. Just wondering, can you list more products that use microbeads in our daily life so we can be more aware of it? Thank you.
That's okay. There's a big, well, in Hong Kong now, it doesn't seem to be a problem. I know it's still a problem in the US. I don't know about Taiwan, but there's microbeads in toothpaste as well. And that was more shocking for people that they were scrubbing their teeth, and there was terrible photos that I saw of microbeads being stuck in people's gums and getting inflamed. So yeah, I'd be interested when you go into your shops, next time you buy toothpaste, read the ingredients on the back. Dali was the big offender in Hong Kong, but they have since, I haven't found any, and Crest was the other one as well. So look out for those two brands and make sure that your toothpaste doesn't have microbeads.
请问一下，这些塑胶微粒对我们的皮肤跟我们的身体对我们皮肤跟身体有什么影响？
So the question was, well, you will hear the question, does it affect you personally? And funny story, when we were working with a university and they were doing a marketing plan for us, and we were explaining the issue, and we were explaining that, you know, the downstream effects of the plastic. And these students, they weren't, they'd never heard of this before. They hadn't really heard of any sort of plastic pollution problems. It was just all new to them, and they couldn't see the problem with the scrubs. They're like, well, does it cause a problem on our skin? We said, well, no. It's actually more gentle on your skin, but the problem is downstream when you use it. And it took us a while to convince them that there was actually a problem, that just because it didn't affect you immediately, that it wasn't something that you should not care about. So no, it's not harmful to your skin. They've tested to make sure that it's safe to use, but they haven't tested to make sure that it's safe to be disposed of.
那待会发问的时候可以用中文，然后先讲一下你哪一个学校嘛，还有哪一个你的名字。
各位好，我是北热强的宋宇川 Brian。I'm wondering about you guys try to have a system to identify that does this product have plastic inside or not, like. You know, like some food, they can have like a logo on it that says, oh, this is organic, or like this is not after the genetic. You know, then do you guys try to have it? Then it can let like consumers too easier to to categorize it, because like you said, the toothpaste have it, and the facial cleaner have it. And I'm wondering about if that also the toothpaste have it, then lots of products have it. So yeah.
Yes, it's a really good point actually. And in Europe, they were trying to introduce legislation that a sticker would be put on the front of the products to say that this product contains plastic microbeads. It's very difficult to pass those sort of laws. And in Hong Kong, we have very extensive food labelling requirements, and all the ingredients have to be listed, and you're not allowed to make any sort of false claims. But this doesn't go to skincare and beauty products. So some of the products don't even have ingredients lists, so it makes it extremely difficult to find out what is inside. So I think it would be ideal to have that, to be able to just slap on a sticker and say, yes, plastic inside. I imagine there will be quite a lot of opposition to that from the companies. This was one of the reasons why the app was developed, so that people could download that and to use that. But I agree, it would be much easier to have